It is 3 o'clock in the morning. Your house is completely still. You finally sank into that deep, heavy sleep, the good kind. And then the signal comes. Faint at first, somewhere at the edge of your awareness, you try to roll over. You try to think about something else, but the pressure builds. You throw back the covers, drop your feet onto the cold floor, and shuffle to the bathroom like a zombie. You squint against the light, do what you came to do, and come back to bed. But sleep is gone. Your mind is running. Work, the mortgage, your kids. You lie there for an hour, finally drift off, and it happens again. The second time tonight. You wake up in the morning shattered, heavy-headed, and you pour coffee into yourself all day just to function. Every single day, patients walk into my practice with red eyes from sleep deprivation and tell me this exact story. And almost every one of them looks at me and says the same thing. Doc, what can you do? It's just age. Everybody gets up at night. Let me be incredibly direct with you. That is a lie. It is a dangerous illusion, and it needs to be shattered right now. Getting up at night to urinate is not normal at 40, not at 50, and not at 70. 50 million Americans wake up every night to use the bathroom. And what nobody is telling you at your standard 15-minute doctor's appointment is that in 80% of these cases, your bladder is completely healthy. It isn't the problem. And the pills, the supplements, the herbs you have been taking for your prostate or your overactive bladder, they are aimed at the wrong organ entirely. The system makes money when you stay sick, not when you get well. That is economics, not malice. Today, I am going to walk you through exactly what is happening inside your body while you sleep. I am going to explain the metabolic and mechanical roots of your physical decline, and I am going to give you the exact daily protocols, free, non-invasive, and actionable tonight to fix them. Do not click away. What you are about to hear could save you from years of unnecessary surgeries, medications, and suffering. Let us start with the hidden sign of heart disease that is destroying your sleep. Most people have already decided they know the cause of their nighttime bathroom trips. Men say it is their prostate. Women say it is menopause, a prolapse, or a chronic bladder infection. You buy the advertised supplements. You restrict your water intake so aggressively that your mouth goes dry by evening. You stop drinking tea after 6 p.m. You go to bed parched, and yet at 2 a.m., you still get up and release half a liter of urine. Where is it coming from if you did not drink anything? Let me explain this with a simple model. Imagine your home's fire alarm goes off in the middle of the night. What do most people do? They cover the sensor with tape so it stops making noise. The correct response is to find where the fire is. That is exactly how most people treat their nighttime bathroom trips. Your bladder is the sensor. It is simply signaling that something is failing somewhere else. In 80% of cases, the bladder is perfectly healthy. The problem is not the reservoir. The problem is who is filling it during the night and why. The answer to that question may genuinely shock you. The real culprit is your legs and your heart. Let me tell you about a patient of mine named Anatoly. He was 54 years old, a solid, self-sufficient man who only came to the doctor when he was desperate. He walked in with a thick folder of paperwork, bladder ultrasounds, PSA blood tests, a stack of prescriptions. He said, "Doc, it's my prostate or cancer. Do something, I'm losing my mind." For the last 6 months, he was waking up 4 or 5 times a night. He had imposed a strict liquid ban after 6 p.m., yet he was releasing massive amounts of urine all night long. I looked at his lab work. His PSA prostate cancer marker was normal. His bladder was clean, no stones. From a urological standpoint, he was nearly healthy. So I stopped asking about his bladder and started asking about how he lived. I asked if he felt a little shortness of breath when climbing stairs. I asked if his ring felt tight by the evening, or if the elastic of his socks left a deep groove in his legs. He said yes. When he took his socks off, there was an actual indentation in the skin. The picture clicked into place. I told him to throw out the prostate pills. I sent him to a cardiologist and a sleep specialist. He looked at me like I had lost my mind. What does my heart have to do with it? I'm running to the bathroom, not clutching my chest. But the specialists found the truth. Anatoly had early-stage heart failure, hidden with no dramatic symptoms and obstructive sleep apnea. Let me explain the physics of what was happening in his body, because it is happening in the majority of you watching this. Picture a plastic bottle half filled with water. When it stands upright, the water sits at the bottom. When you lay it on its side, the water distributes evenly. Your body works the same way. During the day, you sit or stand for 16 hours. Gravity pulls blood and fluid down toward your feet. Because your heart might be slightly weakened, it cannot fully circulate your blood volume, and fluid pools in the tissues of your calves. Your legs can hide up to 1.5 liters of water. Then you go to bed. You lie down. Your legs rise to the same level as your kidneys and your heart. Gravity no longer holds that fluid down. All that water you stored in your legs begins rapidly returning to your bloodstream in a massive wave. It is like someone injected an extra liter of fluid directly into your veins within a single hour while you are trying to sleep. When this returning fluid reaches your heart, the right atrium fills and stretches beyond its normal volume. The heart recognizes that the system is overloaded, so it releases a hormone called atrial natriuretic peptide, or ANP. This hormone acts as an emergency telegram to your kidneys. Dump this excess fluid immediately or I will fail. Your kidneys shift into emergency mode, filtering the blood rapidly. An hour later, your bladder is full. You wake up. You are not processing what you drank. You are quite literally drinking through your legs. But there's a second mechanism destroying your rest, your breathing. A healthy brain produces a hormone at night called antidiuretic hormone, or vasopressin. This hormone acts as a factory manager sending a memo to your kidneys. Stop, night shift, work in economy mode, and concentrate the urine. Sleep apnea, which causes brief pauses in breathing, profoundly disrupts this hormone. When you stop breathing, your brain panics, vasopressin shuts down, and your kidneys are forced to work actively. Many people try to fix this sleep problem with alcohol. They have a glass of brandy or a beer before bed, thinking it helps them sleep harder. This is a massive self-deception. Alcohol is a powerful blocker of antidiuretic hormone. It cancels the vasopressin signal entirely. Your kidneys run at full speed. The alcohol might let you sleep through the first urge, but it keeps filling until the second urge is painful. You get no restorative sleep, and you wake up wrecked. Furthermore, the food you eat acts like a delayed switch on your kidneys. If you eat a cheese sandwich or cured meats for dinner, you are consuming hidden salt. Sodium acts like a magnet, pulling water into your blood. Overnight, your kidneys detect this and actively excrete it, pulling water with it. Evening sugar is just as bad. Simple carbohydrates cause an insulin spike, which signals your kidneys to retain sodium and water. When your blood sugar drops a few hours later, your kidneys switch to active fluid excretion. Sugar acts as an osmotic diuretic. We have to stop fighting the bladder and start managing the fluid. Here is the daily protocol to fix this. First, the waterfall method. Shift your fluid intake. 70% of your total daily fluid should happen before 4 p.m. Drink water in the morning and at work. After 4 p.m., turn the tap down to small sips just to relieve dryness. Second, the lazy elevation. This is the golden rule. 1 to 1.5 hours before bed, while you are reading or resting, lie down on the sofa or the floor and put your legs up against the wall or on pillows. Your heels must be higher than your heart. Stay there for 15 to 20 minutes. Gravity will push that fluid back to your heart while you're awake. Your kidneys will process it, you will go to the bathroom 40 minutes later, and you will sleep through the night because your legs are drained. Third, calm the bladder. Eat a handful of raw, green, unsalted pumpkin seeds daily. They are packed with bioavailable zinc and magnesium that relax the detrusor muscle of the bladder wall, helping it expand. Add real, unsweetened cranberry to reduce chronic bacterial irritation that makes your bladder hypersensitive. and increased dietary fiber. A chronically constipated, gas-filled colon presses directly against your bladder, making it signal fullness when it is barely a quarter full. Now, while we are talking about your legs storing fluid, let us address the heavy, painful purple varicose veins pushing against the skin of your calves. Your doctor told you the vein wall stretched out and referred you for laser ablation or surgical stripping. But the wall is not where this problem starts. It is where it ends up. Inside your veins are tiny, one-way trapdoors called valves. Think of them as a staircase where every step has a trapdoor. Blood climbs one step, the trapdoor closes behind it. The only direction of travel is up, but when you stand or sit for 12 to 14 hours a day, sustained hydrostatic pressure fatigues those delicate valve leaflets. Furthermore, after age 40, your body's synthesis of collagen, the material these valves are made of, slows down. The valves thin out, lose resilience, and stop closing completely. Blood slides backward, pools in the vein, and the pressure rises until the vein wall expands and balloons outward. If you surgically strip the vein without fixing the valves and the collagen, the varicose veins will simply come back somewhere else. To fix this before your first coffee, stand barefoot on a hard floor. Rise fully onto your toes, then drop your heels down with a firm, controlled impact. Do this 30 times. This activates the soleus muscle, the most powerful venous pump in your body, waking up the valves before gravity takes over. Throughout the day, if you sit for more than 30 minutes, do 10 ankle circles. To rebuild the collagen in the valve leaflets, you need specific plant compounds called flavonoids, rutin, hesperidin, and diosmin. Eat whole-cooked buckwheat 2 to 3 times a week. It contains more rutin than almost any accessible food. Eat the white pith of citrus fruits like oranges, which contains hesperidin and diosmin. Drink tart cherry concentrate to reduce vein wall inflammation. Finally, hot baths dilate your veins, so always finish your evening shower with 30 seconds of cool water on your legs to force the veins to contract and the valves to close tightly. Let us transition from your legs to how you move them. You might think you will just walk more to improve your leg circulation. Walking is a medical necessity after 50. But wrong walking does not just waste your time. It actively destroys your joints and wrecks your posture. After 50, you lose 1 to 2% of your muscle mass every year, a condition called sarcopenia. Your cartilage loses its blood supply and starves without movement. If you walk incorrectly, you accelerate all of this. Most people step outside and immediately hit full pace. Your muscles are cold, lacking elasticity, creating microscopic tears. Your cartilage isn't lubricated yet. Sudden demands spike your heart rate and jump your blood pressure, stressing your less elastic blood vessels. You must spend the first 3 to 5 minutes walking at a deliberately slow, leisurely pace. This is your medical warm-up. Then there is the 11-pound bowling ball. The average human head weighs 11 pounds. When you look down at a phone or walk with a hunched posture, your head shifts forward. Just a 2-inch forward shift multiplies the load on your neck muscles to roughly 45 to 55 pounds continuously. This is a biomechanical catastrophe. It generates chronic neck tension and collapses your chest so your diaphragm cannot fully expand. You breathe shallowly, giving your body less oxygen. You must walk with a string gently pulling the top of your head upward, shoulders back, eyes on the horizon. Do you walk with your arms in your pockets? Walking requires cross-coordination to distribute the load across your spine symmetrically. When your arms do not swing, your lower back over-rotates, triggering pain. Bend your elbows 90 degrees and let them swing naturally. The fat pads on the soles of your feet thin out as you age. You lose natural shock absorption. If you are walking in 3-year-old sneakers, the internal cushioning is dead. Every ground impact travels straight up into your ankle, knee, hip, and lower back. Replace walking shoes yearly. This is basic osteoarthritis prevention, and looking at your phone not only crushes your cervical spine, but removes your brain's spatial awareness. After 50, your inner ear's vestibular system declines. Your proprioception fades. Your brain relies heavily on your eyes for visual input to maintain balance. If your eyes are on a screen, you stop seeing uneven pavement. Your risk of a hip fracturing fall skyrockets. Put the phone in your pocket. Speaking of that forward head posture, let us talk about what it does to the front of your throat. If you have been over 60 long enough, you might avoid mirrors or wear scarves to hide what people cruelly call a turkey neck. You buy $90 creams, you use jade rollers, you look up $10,000 surgeries. But the creams only treat the epidermis, the outer layer of skin. The loose skin is just the curtain. The problem is the rod the curtain hangs on, and that rod has gone slack. Under your skin is a thin, broad sheet of muscle called the platysma, running from your collarbone to your jaw. Above it is the hyoid bone, a horseshoe-shaped bone suspended like a hammock by muscles. Because we spend decades with our heads pushed forward staring at screens, the platysma goes completely unused. It atrophies. The hyoid bone drops, changing the sharp angle of your jaw into a gentle slope. You do not need a scalpel to fix a dormant muscle. You need activation. Sit upright, shoulders back. Press the entire flat of your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth. Hold it there. This engages the hyoid hammock. Tilt your head backward, looking at the ceiling. Push your lower jaw forward, trying to make your bottom teeth meet your top lip. You will feel an intense pull from your collarbone to your jaw. That is your platysma, activating possibly for the first time in many years. Hold for 10 seconds. Repeat 3 times. Do this morning and night. Within 8 to 12 weeks, the muscle thickens, producing resting tension that visibly lifts the skin. Also, sleep on your back. Side sleeping compresses the front of the neck asymmetrically for hours every night, contributing to the collapse. Now let us go deeper into your head, into the quiet of the night. The house has gone quiet and then you hear it. The high-pitched ring, the cricket, the electric hiss. Your doctor told you the hair cells in your ears are tired, or it is noise damage from your youth. Learn to live with it, they say. I want you to trace that symptom upstream. That sound is not coming from your ear, it is coming from your blood. Inside your inner ear, the cochlear nerve carries sound signals to your brain. This nerve is a bundle of 30,000 tiny fibers, each wrapped in a protective, fatty insulation called the myelin sheath. Think of it like a rubber coating around an old telegraph wire. It keeps the signal traveling cleanly and keeps the wire from picking up static. To build and maintain that myelin sheath, your body absolutely requires vitamin B12 and folate. But here is the tragedy of aging. To absorb B12 from your food, your stomach must produce 2 things. First, gastric acid to unwrap the B12 from the food proteins. Second, intrinsic factor, a carrier protein to grab the B12 and transport it into your bloodstream. It is like a relay race with 2 batons. After age 60, up to 30% of adults develop atrophic gastritis, a thinning of the stomach lining. Your stomach stops making enough acid. It stops making enough intrinsic factor. Both batons in the relay race get dropped. Worse, if you take acid reflux medications like proton pump inhibitors or metformin for blood sugar, your absorption plummets even further. You could be eating meat and eggs all day, but the B12 is passing right through you unabsorbed. Slowly, your blood levels drop. The myelin insulation around your auditory nerve cracks and thins. In the silence of your bedroom, the bare nerve fibers begin to misfire. Your brain receives that misfire and interprets it as a ringing sound. The sound is real, but it is a symptom of neurological starvation. Do not just accept a standard serum B12 test. The lab will say anything over 200 picograms per milliliter is normal. But neurological damage, including tinnitus, begins in the gray zone between 200 and 400. You must ask your doctor for a methylmalonic acid test. This catches functional cellular deficiency even when the blood looks okay. To support myelin repair at home, eat 2 whole eggs for breakfast, a serving of beef or salmon. Give your body the raw material to rebuild that insulation. It takes 3 to 6 months for the myelin to repair, but for many, the ringing will gradually quiet down. Finally, let us address your eyes and why your daily habits are blinding you. You look across the room and the clock is hazy. You go to the optometrist, your vision is blurry, you get a stronger prescription. 6 months later, it happens again. They tell you your eyes are aging, but the glasses are not treating the problem. They are merely compensating for what your blood is doing to your eyes. You do not need a diabetes diagnosis for blood sugar to destroy your eyesight. You just need a lifestyle that causes your blood glucose to spike and crash every day. Your eyes are the most metabolically demanding tissue in your body. Let me tell you about Eleanor. She was 67, no diabetes diagnosis, but her vision kept deteriorating. She noticed her vision was worse in the late afternoon, but better in the morning before breakfast. After a heavy pasta dinner with dessert, the halos around the bedroom lamp were unbearable. Why? Because of mechanism number 1, lens swelling. Your eye's lens is made of water and protein. It absorbs glucose directly from the fluid that surrounds it. When you eat a sweet dessert or a carbohydrate-heavy meal, the glucose floods your bloodstream. Your lens absorbs this glucose and converts it into a compound called sorbitol. Sorbitol cannot escape the lens. It acts like a dry sponge, sucking water into the lens. Your lens physically swells, inflates, and changes shape. Your vision blurs. This is a fluid shift, and it is entirely reversible. Mechanism number 2 is capillary glycation. Chronic glucose spikes cause glucose molecules to attach to the flexible proteins in your delicate retinal capillaries, turning them stiff, brittle, and leaky like a rubber hose turning to ceramic. They bleed fluid into the retina, starving the 130 million photoreceptors of oxygen. Mechanism number 3 is the destruction of your macula. The macula contains 2 protective pigments, lutein and zeaxanthin. They absorb blue light and neutralize free radicals. Chronic blood sugar dysregulation creates massive oxidative stress. Your body burns through these pigments trying to defend itself, leaving your photoreceptors defenseless against light damage. Mechanism number 4 links your eyes to your kidneys. When your kidney function declines from this same blood sugar dysregulation, your fluid retention increases, raising the pressure inside your eye and driving glaucoma, which silently destroys your optic nerve. And mechanism number 5 involves silent nutrient deficiencies. Thiamine, B1, is consumed rapidly when processing excess glucose, starving the ganglion cells of energy. Magnesium deficiency worsens insulin signaling. Zinc absorption decreases as your stomach acid declines with age, weakening the enzymes that protect retinal tissue. You cannot fix this with glasses. You must fix the metabolic environment bathing your eyes. Here is the exact protocol. First, sequence your food. Stop starting your day with simple carbohydrates. Begin your day with 2 eggs and a small portion of smoked fish or full-fat yogurt. A morning meal built on protein and fat blunts the early glucose spike and prevents sorbitol from swelling your lens. At lunch and dinner, eat your vegetables and protein before you touch the starch or sugar. Second, walk for exactly 10 minutes after your largest meal. Muscle contraction pulls glucose straight out of your blood without needing insulin. Third, target the missing nutrients. Your retina needs lutein, zinc, and thiamine. Eat cooked spinach or kale with a little butter. Cooking breaks down the cellular walls to release lutein, and the fat absorbs it. Eat raw, unsalted green pumpkin seeds for zinc and magnesium. Eat 2 egg yolks daily. They contain the most bioavailable lutein on Earth because the fat is naturally built in. Eat herring for thiamine. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, initiate a sleep fast. Stop eating at least 2.5 hours before you sleep. The photoreceptors in your retina work all day and undergo their primary repair cycle during deep sleep. If you eat before bed, you drive a massive glucose excursion during the first hours of the night, precisely when the retina is trying to heal. The blood sugar spike competes with the repair process. Give your eyes their recovery window by giving your digestive system its rest window. Listen to me very carefully. I have spent 15 years watching patients suffer through physical decline, believing it was inevitable, believing their bladder was broken, their veins were weak, their ears were failing, their joints were worn out, and their eyes were just old. The medical system you rely on is brilliant at emergency care, but it is fundamentally broken when it comes to chronic, systemic decline. It profits from treating your symptoms indefinitely, not from explaining the mechanics of prevention. There is no billing code for a 15-minute conversation about fluid physics, capillary glycation, or myelin sheath repair. Your body is not betraying you. It is speaking to you. The 3 a.m. bathroom trips are your heart protecting you from fluid overload. The heavy purple legs are crying out for venous valve support. The chronic joint pain and stiff neck are a biomechanical collapse from how you walk. The ringing in your ears is a starved nerve begging for B12 insulation. The blurry vision is a retina drowning in sugar during its sleep repair cycle. The power to change this does not reside in a prescription pad or a surgeon's scalpel. It resides in the 30-second heel drop, the evening leg elevation, the slow start to your daily walk, the tongue pressed firmly to the roof of your mouth, the elimination of hidden evening sodium, and the sequence of the food on your plate. You have the protocol. It is built on physiology, biochemistry, and physics. Now, you must have the discipline to use it. Before you go, I need you to do 2 things for me. First, drop your age and where you are watching from in the comments below. The physiological changes I described, the collagen loss, the stomach acid drop, the muscle atrophy, shift with every single decade. Knowing if you are 55, 65, or 85, and whether you are in a cold climate or a warm one, tells me exactly what mechanisms to break down for you in the next video. Second, hit the subscribe button and leave a like on this video. We are building a movement of people taking their health back from a system that wants them to stay sick. Every subscriber helps push this video into the feed of someone who is currently scheduling an $11,000 neck surgery they do not need, or taking prostate pills for a failing heart. You might just save a life today. You see, I am Dr. Zaiden. Your body is deeply connected. Treat the cause, not the symptom. I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself.